Today we're going to discuss a phonics intervention called letter cube blending. We're going to begin by exploring the theoretical foundations for letter cube blending as an intervention, continue on to describe the materials you will need to implement this intervention and the step-by-step process of how to do so, and finish with a modeling video that gives you an example of what it would look like to use this intervention with a student in your school. So let's begin with the theory behind this intervention and why you would want to implement it with a student. Phonics interventions, or interventions that focus primarily on the ability to correlate sounds with letters in the alphabet and build words, are based in a theory that values literacy skill building more than the practice of whole language philosophy. This means that it values building foundational literacy skills for students before reading books. This provides students a strong understanding of letters and letter sounds prior to reading, which allows them to be more successful when they start learning to read. Phonics instruction leads to literacy growth for children who are typically developing, at risk, or who have identified reading disabilities. Now let's talk about why you would want to implement letter cube blending with a student. This intervention was found to provide great improvements in phonics skills for a group of first grade students who received the intervention 60 minutes a week. Letter cube blending is very easy to implement, allows the student to generate their own answers frequently, and shows high improvements in phonics skills, which allows a student to grow in reading skills as well. Now let's discuss how to decide if this intervention is the best fit for your student. As we mentioned before, this intervention can be used with any student who is developing typically academically, at risk in reading, or has an identified learning disability. It has been shown to provide improvements for any student at any level who needs more support with learning letter sounds, generating words or sounding out words, or struggling to begin reading. This intervention is very time efficient and has been shown to be effective for students who receive it 60 minutes a week or 20 minutes a week. This means that you would not even have to spend 15 minutes each day to see improvements with your student's ability to decode words and letter sounds.
Here's what you'll need to implement this intervention. 3 letter blending cubes. They can be made out of styrofoam, paper, or wood. You'll need red, blue, and green pens or markers to write letters on the cubes. For block 1, you'll have consonants in green marker. For block 2, vowels in blue marker. For block 3, more consonants in a red marker. You'll also need a letter cube blending record sheet to write down the words that are made. And lastly, you can find links to worksheets and additional information on the next slide. Here for easy access are the links to the worksheets. The first one is a letter cube blending record sheet, which is what you'll use when the cubes are rolled and words are created. And the second is a link to Florida's Center for Reading Research Materials that has different worksheets and also has a cutout to make paper cubes. For preparation for this intervention, start with your 3 blocks. Next, take 3 markers of different colors, green, blue, and red, and write the lowercase letters listed below on the sides of the 3 blocks. And finally, just to make sure that we can tell which letters are which, draw a line under any letter that can be confused with another letter that has an identical shape, for example, B and D, so that when the blocks are rolled and the letters are flipped over, that line will show which letter was supposed to be which. Now for the steps of this intervention. 1. Each student will take turns rolling the letter cubes, or if you're only working with one student, they will be rolling the letter cubes each time. The student will toss the cubes on the floor, a table, or other flat surface, and the cubes are then lined up in order, 1, 2, and 3, or cubes by color, green, blue, and red. 2. The student will be prompted to sound out the letters on the cubes. The student will say each letter and then blend the letters to read the word. 3. The student will identify and record, or write, the real or nonsense word. They will record this on the letter cube blending record sheet, and there will be a column for real words and nonsense words. They will write the word in the respective column. And number 4, the activity will continue to 10 words. So once the student has made at least 10 words, you can stop. This gives them enough practice generating new words.
Today we'll be going over letter cube naming. So the object of this is to learn the sounds of the words and then putting them together. So you do that by having these three cubes. These three cubes make up CVC words. So the first one is obviously all consonants. That is the green cube. I just put little green dots to symbolize that. Second one has a blue dot to symbolize that it's the second one, or the vowel side. And then the third box has red, so red dots. So you would roll all of these and then place them in their correct boxes. So green is 1, blue is 2, and the third one is red. So then this word happens to spell men, so in men, and that is a real word, so I'd mark that in the real word category. And then if it were to have been, for instance, meb, that is a nonsense word, so then I would mark that in the nonsense word category. So now we will go into using a real student. Alright, Brandon, so today we are going to be doing letter cube blending. So I have these three cubes. The green one, or the green dotted cube, goes in the first box. The blue one with the blue dot goes into the second cube. And the third red one goes into the third one. Alright, so I'm going to roll these. And so the green one, I got a C, and an E, and an N. Alright, so N, sen. Alright, so that is a nonsense word. So I'm going to put that in the nonsense word category. Alright, now you try. Alright, so
B O A D bud. D food.